Super weather.
Good Sunday morning. I'm meteorologist Brooke Martell. Daylight saving time has officially begun. Are you feeling it? I know I am, losing that extra hour of sleep. Taking a look at your local weather headlines, what you can see for today. We do have those breezy Santa Ana winds. It's going to be warmer. You'll definitely notice this really county-wide. By tomorrow, we still have a chance of light showers and cooler temperatures. Midweek, though, we will be warming up once again. I'm talking 70s and 80s, maybe even some 90s west of those mountain communities. I'll show you that in the 10-day forecast in just a moment. Here's what it feels like just before 6 a.m. Sunday. You can see a good mix. Not too bad in some areas. We've definitely seen cooler. You can see 50s and 40s over the mountains, over the valleys. Also seeing some of that trending over your coastline. Now, speaking of the coast, over in La Jolla, you can see those temperatures are going to be right around the upper 50s through about 8 o'clock. And then we don't really waste a lot of time here in the 60s. We're close to those mid to upper 60s between 9 and 10. We get into those 70s fairly quickly, probably before lunchtime, before noon. And places along the coastline, 70s and 80s. I'll show you that with your zone forecast in just a moment. But we have that lower rip current risk. Wave heights today from 1 to 2 feet. And we still have the wind advisory in effect until 5 o'clock tonight. This is still for the valleys, for the mountain communities. Gusty wind conditions reported there yesterday. Going to see some of that activity again this morning into this afternoon. Maybe not quite as strong as what we had Saturday, but still definitely a factor. And we're talking about northeasterly to easterly winds. So driving in some of that warm compressed air into our valleys, really drying things out. And here is a look at the wind gust and direction. So this is right around 11:30 this morning. You can tell where these stronger conditions are concentrated. Very typical for the higher elevations, but also just really funneling into the valleys. Ramona, Alpine, along the I-8 for commuters. Once you get through El Cajon, continuing east, that's where it's going to be problematic, possibly for some of those higher profile vehicles, semi trucks. You might need to pull over periodically. Again, these winds starting to taper off as we head into this evening. Really looks a lot different as we get into about 7, 8 o'clock once that wind advisory does expire. But here's a look at the daytime highs. I told you, really nice day to hit the coast right around those mid 70s to about the mid 80s. Still a little bit breezy there for the beaches, but you could see over those inland valley communities. We have low to mid 80s there today, 60s and 70s for the mountains, and we're closer to those mid 80s as well over your desert region. Here is a look at your rain forecast for the mountain communities. So you could see as we kick off this upcoming week, we do have those chances back in the forecast, and it's on the lighter side. It's that low pressure system right now over Baja that's continuing to push northeast. And I'll show you this in just a moment. It has some of the cloud cover with it, but it also has some of the moisture associated with it on its outer bands, which could push into San Diego County. Here's what it looks like. So as we get into Tuesday, you can actually see that this is going to continue to make that, again, northeasterly push. And we could see a little bit of that moisture tomorrow. And it's looking like most of that activity kind of moves out of the area by Tuesday, but some models are picking up, like the coastline, that there is that slight chance of rain as we look ahead to Tuesday. But by midweek, that's when things are going to change once again. Before we get to that, here's a look at the futurecast rainfall, just giving you an idea that this is a fairly light system of what we could see when it comes to accumulation for rainfall. I'm talking 1/10 of an inch for the valleys, if that, but could be possibly less than that for some areas as well. Here's that 10-day forecast for you. So your temperatures cooling down pretty significantly, I would say Monday, Tuesday, but bringing us closer to seasonal norms. By Wednesday, we start to warm up once again, and look at Thursday and Friday. I mean, again, for downtown area, closer to San Diego International Airport, some 80s in the forecast, 90s possibly for your inland valley communities. Although we start to trend down a little bit by next weekend, we're still on the warmer side. That's going to be the case for the mountains. Upper 50s Monday, Tuesday, and then we could see some upper 70s Friday, Saturday, maybe even some 80s by the end of next weekend. For the desert region, spending some time in the 70s for tomorrow, and then quickly getting back into those 80s and 90s by the end of this upcoming week. Have a great day.
Don't forget your umbrella.